So I am delighted to be joined by Jeremy Lazarus. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You are a presenter at the NLP conference next May, and your topic, I think, is potentially one that's going to be very close to all our hearts at this precise moment. It's money, the 5 reasons why your clients don't have enough and what you can do about it.
Yes.
So making the presumption that that can also apply to delegates.
Absolutely.
Myself.
Absolutely.
So do tell us a little bit more about yourself and your presentation, Jeremy.
Well, firstly, thanks for having me. Lovely to see you again, Karen. My background, I actually used to be an accountant and a corporate treasurer. So I had 18 years in inverted commas conventional jobs. I worked in the city and blah, 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 management consultant. So I understand about money in the world of finance. And then in 1999, I quit my job to set up my own coaching business. It's a long story, but basically I wanted to make a difference, which is probably not what most accountants would say. No disrespect to accountants watching, of course. And since that point, I've been coaching all sorts of people. I'm a master trainer of NLP. So I've been teaching NLP, teaching people to coach and coaching people in all sorts of backgrounds. So that's my background. In terms of the presentation itself, you know, money for some people is a bit of a dirty topic. They don't want to talk about it. It's the sort of thing you mustn't talk about in inverted commas polite company. And yet I think it's one of the cornerstones of having a happy and fulfilled life. That doesn't mean we all have to be multimillionaires. And my grandfather, who I loved dearly, he didn't have much money, but he said he was the richest man in the world because he had a wife, 4 children, and 8 grandchildren who he totally adored and who totally adored him. So it's not necessarily about being multimillionaires, but I think it's important, well, particularly with what's happening in the world, you know, economically. Yeah. It's important that people have an understanding of money, what it actually means, and what they can do if they want to have more of it.
Yes.
So that's where I'm coming from with this.
It's interesting you say about it being sort of like a taboo subject, because I think there are so many cliches, aren't there, around money being dirty and that sort of thing. So there's a lot to unpack there.
There is. I mean, you hear people say he's filthy or she's filthy rich. Yeah. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's very much so.
Yeah, the love of money being the root of all evil.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure that's true, but anyway. So there's lots that I will be covering in the 90 minutes.
Wonderful. So what will delegates take away from your session?
Well, they'll take away certainly a better understanding of what money is and what it isn't. They'll take away the 5 reasons why people don't have enough money. So the title kind of says it all. And there are 5 main reasons based on what I've been observing with people and some reading I've done about it. Yeah. And some NLP techniques to help clear some of those. And also some very practical non-NLP, but sort of, I suppose if I put my finance hat on for a moment, you know, finance, basic rules of finance. People take them on board, they will, I'm not saying necessarily immediately, although actually probably immediately they'll have more money, but in longer term, as it, you know, as they adopt what I say, it will increase their wealth, for want of a better word, as they go forward. So they absolutely have strategies to understand the limitations they have and what to do about it, and for themselves, as you say, and for their clients.
Wonderful. That's definitely some. Can we do that one now rather than wait until May?
We can talk more privately.
We can wait. So is there anything that delegates can do beforehand to give themselves sort of a deeper experience or prepare for this particular presentation?
Well, the obvious, you know, come with an open mind. But no, I was thinking about this. I think just to reflect on money and their own thoughts. So you mentioned the term about, you know, money being the root of all evil, or you know, filthy rich, or whatever it may be. So just to have some thoughts about their attitudes to money, perhaps reflect on where those attitudes came from, some of the messages they had or they received as they were growing up around money. And if they really want to prepare, then the thing to do is to do two things. I'm going to put my accountant's hat back on for a moment. Create their own personal balance sheet. In other words, the list of assets and liabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And also to create their profit and loss account. So their budget, their monthly budget, what they earn after tax each month, what they spend it on.
Yeah.
They can, in terms of the expenditure, to categorize it into absolutely, totally essential, important, and kind of frivolous, should we say?
Yeah.
Discretionary spending.
It's an accounting word.
Well, exactly, an economic word, but it's I know I did a degree in my first degree was in business. So but if people do that, if people come prepared with that, will help them to get even more. But certainly the first bit about having an open mind and just reflecting on some of their attitudes, beliefs, and their experiences about money, that would be enough. I'll go through the other 2 points about the assets and liabilities and the income and expenses. I'll go through that in more detail on the event itself.
Wonderful. Well, one accountant to another. That's the terms that we understand. Exactly. So yes, I'm thinking, oh, that's really easy.
Well, yeah.
Not always.
Not, and a lot of stuff that perhaps people in the world of finance find easy, some people don't. And I have to say, I've met accountants who are great at advising others, but they don't put into practice for themselves.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, yes. I dislike talking about money intensely unless it's other people's.
Okay, you will exactly. Or I know what you should invest in, but I don't do any of it myself. I spend all my money or whatever it may be.
Oh yes, oh yeah, that's another story. So Jeremy, I mean, you've obviously attended the conference for a number of years, long before we took it over. You've attended as a delegate and a presenter. So what does the NLP International Conference mean to you?
Well, what I'd say is, let's talk about NLP and then I'll talk about the conference itself. I think NLP is when taught properly, I want to make this clear, quality NLP, when it's taught properly, is absolutely a brilliant tool to help people have more of what they want and less of what they don't want in their life. To communicate more effectively, to change any negative thought patterns they might have and replicate excellence. So it can make a massive, massive difference in the world. And I think, I say this every year, the world really needs it. Every year it seems to need it more. In terms of the conference, I think it's a way of bringing together people who have got an interest, whether they are complete novices or been doing this for 40 years. It gives people a chance to come together, learn, share, network, and have a good time, basically. That's what it means to me.
Sounds like a plan.
It sounds like a plan, actually.
Wonderful. So for those of you watching, as I said, Jeremy Lazarus is presenting at the virtual part of the you're in person. Yeah. Apologies, Jeremy is in person the first weekend of the conference next year. So you're presenting on Sunday the 14th of May at 2 o'clock 1400 hours BST, and that will be live in person in the Radisson Hotel in Heathrow, and also being live streamed. And of course, that will also be recorded so that people can watch it afterwards if they can't attend live. So really looking forward to seeing you in person next year, Jeremy. It will be lovely after 3-4 years of being virtual. So thank you and look forward to it.
Can I add one more thing, Karen?
Of course.
So what I'd say is that if people attend the talk and put into practice what I say, it will be worth hundreds of times what they pay for the conference. And that's a big statement.
That is a big statement. That's that certainly got me on my seat. So thank you, Jeremy. That's a really good incentive. So so thank you. Appreciate that and really look forward to seeing you next year.
Thanks, Karen.